Hey everybody, Chuck Holton here, taking a morning stroll on the shore of Lake Como here in Italy. We've been here on vacation for a few days, and this place is spectacular. I mean, just look at that scenery back there. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning and it's not real crowded. Now, Lake Como is kind of like the Martha's Vineyard of Italy. I mean, it's where very rich people come, and I mean, it's expensive. A lot of movies are shot here, Bond films and things like that. And you can see why. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. There are many places in Italy that are really gorgeous, and it kind of makes you wonder why Italy struggles the way it does in terms of keeping its people and keeping them from expatriating to other countries. And so all is not as it seems here. This is a very expensive part of Italy, but even in the cheaper parts of Italy, people are leaving in droves. The native Italians are moving away, going to other countries that have lower tax rates and places, where they can make a better living. And I want to explore a little bit about why that is, because it's a kind of a complex web of things that are causing this, and it bears some lessons for the United States as well, because we're not too much further back down the road from where Italy is today, and the things Italy is facing, the United States is certainly facing as well. So first of all, you have brain drain. Now, the tax rates in Italy are some of the highest in Europe. Europe is some of the highest in the world. So even small mom and pop businesses here sometimes end up paying upwards of 60% of their income in federal taxes before they pay Social Security. And that's Social Security is on top of that as well. And you can see how that would feel a lot like slavery. So the people just get pushed out, and if they have any ability to go work elsewhere, they're going to go looking for better opportunities someplace else. It's really sad when you think of what a beautiful country this is, to have the native Italians being pushed out. But that's not the only problem. They also have a very low birth rate, one of the lowest in Europe. And that obviously brings its own demographic issues, because they're just not having babies. And if they're not having babies, then they're not going to be able to replace the people who die off or leave, either one. That's why you see these remote Italian villages that are all but cleared out, almost like ghost towns now. In some places, the city government is selling houses in these villages for like €1. And you might think, oh my gosh, I'm going to go snap up one of those $1 houses. And how idyllic would that be, living in a nice mountain town in Italy? Well, if your tax rate's going to be 70% total, that might put a damper on it. A lot of these, it's not a scam, but this scheme to sell houses for $1 in Italy comes with stipulations. You have to renovate the house within 1 to 3 years. Sometimes you have to have residency in Italy, which means you're going to have to pay taxes in Italy to be able to do that. And of course, renovating one of those old houses is going to be very expensive. And Italy still suffers from, sort of the socialist history that they had under Mussolini, because red tape here is something of legend. It's almost like the national sport, the bureaucracy of making everything difficult. You got to have permits on top of permits, and it takes years sometimes to get those things, and it makes everything hard. Regulations just make everything hard, and they love their regulations here in Italy. So it's not as easy as it might sound to just buy one of these houses and go to town have a nice Airbnb. But people are doing it. People are buying those up and turning them into Airbnbs with mixed success, I would say. Nevertheless, you have people leaving those villages, not just because they're moving to other countries, not just because the low birth rate, but because the opportunities and jobs and infrastructure in those places is difficult, to say the least. So, for example, some of these villages like you see right across here on the mountains, getting to those villages is extremely difficult. And the internet's not great up there. This village that we're in, Dongo, that doesn't have great internet. And a lot of those infrastructure challenges that the government has in keeping the roads up and the power up and all that here just compounds because of the distance that we're talking about, or the remoteness of some of these mountain villages. So that's another reason. Another reason is that people are, moving to the cities for better jobs and that sort of thing. It's kind of an urbanization of Italy. And last but not least, they have a big problem with illegal immigration. Last year, they had 155,000 illegal arrivals by boat, by sea. Italy is what they call a frontline country when it comes to illegal immigration from places like North Africa and the Middle East. So Lampedusa, which is an island that Italy owns, that's only 70 miles or so from Tunisia, just gets overrun on a daily basis by illegal immigrants coming in. It's a very small island. They don't have very much infrastructure, but all those Africans have to do is make it onto the shore and they're in Italy. And then under European law, they have to be cared for. It's hard to deport them. It's really a challenge for Italy because the rest of Europe doesn't want these people, obviously, neither does Italy. But under the laws of the European Union, they have to declare asylum in the first country that they land on, which in many cases is Italy. So the 155,000 in terms of illegal immigrants doesn't sound like a lot, maybe if you're from the United States, where we regularly had more than that in a month coming across the U.S. southern border until Trump took office. However, for Italy, that's a lot. That's the most that they've had since the previous high, which was from 2015. That's when the real slug of North African immigrants hit Italy, was 2015. So the problem with that is, number one, these people bring their own problems with them. They may be fleeing uncivilized places, but if you're from an uncivilized place, you may not know, you're not going to automatically make a good European. You may not know how to be civilized, and so it causes a spike in crime. It causes a spike in theft. It's it's a real problem. Same thing we see in the U.S. On top of that, these people are low income, low skilled workers for the most part, which means that if they're working, they're going to work off the kind of outside the normal tax channels, and they're going to be like in a cash economy. So they're not going to be paying taxes, but they are going to be consuming vital services like healthcare and education and things like that. So that is a overall drain on Italy's economy. And then on top of that, they're supplanting the high income people who are leaving to go somewhere else. And so Italy is losing that tax revenue while they gain all these new people that need services that have to be paid for by tax revenue. And all of that just creates a real problem for Italy. And it's one of the reasons why we've seen the government here really take a lurch to the right since 2015. Giorgia Meloni and her Brothers of Italy party is now in charge, and she's a staunch conservative, and is trying to, you know, she's a Trump-like figure in Italy, and she's trying to sort of reverse these things and calling for a return to the land movement. We're getting people to come back. Oh my gosh, look at this house right here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Nice villa. There's so many beautiful houses here. It's crazy. So, you know, getting people to come back to the land and trying to encourage them in different ways to come back and to have more babies, because, man, that is the overall biggest problem that Italy probably faces. It's not illegal immigration, it's not high taxes, it's low birth rate. In the long run, that could absolutely sink this country and see it supplanted by wave after wave of Muslim North Africans who then turn this country into a France. You know, they're maybe 15 years behind France in terms of turning it into a literal Muslim country. France today is the most Muslim country in Europe, without a doubt. And so Italy could be not far behind because of the proximity that they have to North Africa. And that's an issue that Giorgia Meloni is trying to face. So, absolutely beautiful place. Some place that's great to visit, but you might not want to live here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Make sure that you go to chuckholton.com and sign up over there for lots of extra content. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel here on YouTube and share it with your friends. We'll see you next time.